Okay, so this is my Silvertone Apocalypse, a Paul Stanley model guitar. He played these from 2003 through 2006. And personally, I'd never heard of Silvertone, but once I did a little research on them, I found that they're basically kind of like a store brand guitar, kind of like what Sears did and what JCPenney would do, kind of like Harmony guitars. They were made by Sears. And Silvertone kind of started off that same way and then kind of branched off on their own. But back in the 50s and 60s and even the early 70s, Silvertone was a pretty respectable brand. And then it kind of became a cheapy brand. And, oh, there's my cat. There's Rebel. I guess he wants to be in the video too. Anyway, Silvertone kind of diminished as far as their brand, I wouldn't say their quality, but their brand reputation maybe. And then I think what helped to put them back on the map, at least for a little while, was when Paul Stanley had his line of guitars through them. There was the Apocalypse, which is this one. There was the Sovereign and a couple of other ones, along with an acoustic guitar. Names don't really mean a whole lot to me. Obviously, it's some of the higher end brands are higher end for a reason, but sometimes you're just buying the name. And this guitar is a really well-made guitar. And what I've always liked about it is the design. I mean, it's just a nice looking guitar. And it plays really, really well. Really well. The only thing I don't care about it too much is it's got kind of a wider neck than I like, than what I'm accustomed to. Guitars are usually classified as either a D neck or a C neck. This one's definitely a C neck. It's wider like that. Whereas like my Ibanez guitars or even Jackson guitars were notorious for being C necks, really thin necks. Jackson especially, because they were made for the shredders. But and the only other complaint I have with this is when you're wearing this guitar, the guitar itself is rather light, but it's neck heavy. So as soon as you let go of it, that neck, it immediately wants to hit the floor. So you kind of have to keep one hand rested on the guitar or, on the body, or keep your hand on the neck of the guitar. But outside of that, I love this guitar. I mean, it's really nice. It's made out of really good wood, and I don't remember the exact specifications, but I do remember that it's a good wood that it's made out of. The tuning keys are good quality tuning keys. The pickups aren't anything that are of name value that I can recall. Excuse me, but for being standard option stock pickups, they sound fantastic. And like I said, more than anything is just the look of this thing. I mean, that's a wicked body. Love it. But it plays well. It sounds great. And of course, it looks fantastic. And it introduced me to a line of guitars I was not familiar with. And pretty much anything Paul Stanley puts his name on, I enjoy, other than his Washburn line. Not to say they weren't good guitars, but I just felt that they were too much of a knockoff of the Ibanez. But this here was an animal all its own. I've never seen guitars shaped like that before. I've seen things similar, but this was truly a unique design. So that's the Silvertone Apocalypse Paul Stanley model.